So in the previous video, I discussed that how this account subpage is actually made by the URL parameters by managing how I manage state. Today I will continue in this part that how I actually set the params when the page is open and when the page is closed. Actually explained. So let's go through this again. So if I go to the VS Code, so you can see just in the previous video, as I told, if the model state dot is auth open is true, then only the auth component is rendered, right? So basically what I am doing, if this is true, then only this is rendering, right? So somewhere we need to click so that then only it opens, right? So for example, if I go to the codebase.in, so I am clicking on sign in or account tab, whatever you can say, then only you can see the parameters or query parameters are getting set. So how is this possible? It is as simple as that, guys. Just go to the VS Code and go to the header file, nothing but you can say where you created the, what you can say, that header.jsx or navbar. So in that, just go on that and just go, if you can see here, this is a sign in, basically whatever you can say, sign in HTML, basically you can say is React component. So in this HTML you can see basically if this is clicked, nothing but this button, whatever you can say, what is meant. So this is the button, right? So sign in is the button, right? So if this is clicked, it means you can see I am toggling the authentication. Again, this function came from home.jsx. Why? Because header component is also rendered in home.jsx only. So toggle or nothing but toggle param. So this time I am using toggle param function with by passing auth page. Why? Because as you can see, so when I click on this, auth page should be equal to open, then only this will render, right? So if I go to this and just if I choose the toggle param function, what this is taking the key. Actually, what is the key? Auth page. This is taking the key and it is basically fetching the previous params. If there are any previous params, it will fetch and it will set it to the new params. So I will check if new params dot get key, nothing but in this params, is there any key value is present, nothing but is there any auth page is equal to open. If it is open, this will become true. And what I will do again, I will delete. Why? Because I already said this is not open or close function. Specifically, this is basically toggle function, either open, you can either close. So that's why if it is open, I will delete, or else if it is not open, then what I will see, what I will set, I will set key is equal to open, nothing but what is the key here, auth page is the key and I'm setting it as open. And set search params, what are the search params I updated here, new one, so that I am setting or updating to the URL basically. So that's it. So if you update, definitely what happens, nothing but if I click on this, definitely it will set the search params as like this. And if this is true, as I already showed below, this will render, as simple as that. So similarly, if I click on wrong, what it will do, it will again call the same function, authentication, toggle authentication. If the URL parameters is open, it will close. If it is closed, it will open. Like this, the toggling is can be done. So this is basically the sign in. So what about if I log in now? So let's log in now. If I log in, so just a minute, I am logging in. So you can see now the login page is completely vanished. Now the account page came. This is also similar to the previous one, as you've seen. Just the changes is the component is different. So you can see now whatever the auth page was open is not rendering. So I'm not setting the auth page is open. Now instead of that, I am setting account equal to open. This means again the same logic in the previous one, how we did auth page is equal to open, then only render the authentication page. So now if account is open, then only render the authentic account page. So you might ask a doubt, what if users change this manually, like before signing in they can use the account is, they can set the account is equal to open, right? So then it will be it is misbehaved by user. So nothing happens. Why? Because if the user is not logged in, then obviously this component will not occur only. Why? Because you can conditionally render a condition. How? I will show you. So for example, see, you can see I am basically, if this is true, nothing but model set.is account open, then only the profile component is getting rendered, right? Nothing but profile page is nothing but, I mean, this is the profile page, right? This is getting rendered. You can also conditionally render, and if user is authenticated, then only render this page. If user is not authenticated, then render him to authentication page. You can also create one more condition. I am not creating that. Why? Because there is no sense if a user does like this. Why? Because they will why? Because if user does also means these data will be empty. There will be no name, email, API key, lost login, and whatever this. Just simply there will be logout button, which will also not function properly. So user will not make this. If they made also, it will be not used. So that's why I am not picking. But if you want to go more depth, you can conditionally render one. You can write one more condition. Basically, whatever I told, just check if user is authenticated or not. If authenticated, then only render this component. Otherwise, redirect him to the sub page. Redirect him to the account, not account, login page. So what are the params I set it before? Just render the same parameters. By this, what happens? If he tries to externally write these parameters, then he tries to access this page, it will automatically redirect to the login page. I think you understood the concept basically. So similarly, based on this, there are a variety of sub pages I made. Just I will show you what are the pages are there. These are the two pages for authentication and account purpose, right? So the one more page I made, there is no page for this. Basically, this is directly linked to the GitHub. So if user clicks on view docs, it will directly link to the GitHub basically. So there is no sub page here. Here is a sub page. Why? Because if I click on active, means this is a subscription active, right? So if I click on choose plan, it will open like this. This is the one sub page, right? So if user selects crypto, you can see here how many like parameters I rendered here. Why? Because just to manage the state. So, and I will choose a subscription like 24 months. If I click on pay now, one more sub page will occur on the top of that. So you can assume. So if I click on this any coin, if I pay now, one more sub page will occur. So how I am doing this? The same concept in the previous video I told. The same concept I am using. You can see here basically how many parameters I wrote here. The subscription is equal to pro, nothing but user selected subscription pro. Payment is equal to open. Payment is equal to open means the first page. The first page, when you click on choose plan, right, the page opens, right? That is the page is going to open. And the second is duration, nothing but data basically you can say. And the payment method is crypto. Okay, then payment method is also a data parameter. Okay, data means what are the user entered or varied here in the sub page. That is called data. Okay, don't bother about that. And the third is crypto pay is equal to open. This is interesting. Crypto pay is nothing but this. Okay, this is mean by why is there crypto page equal to open. So if I just do close this page, this is the only page, right? So for this I made payment is equal to open. If payment is open, then render this component. Similarly, if I click on pay now, this is one more sub page, right? For this I am declaring if crypto pay is open, then only render this page. If the users try externally write this, they will never get this page. Why? Because if they never choose a payment gateway or if they never authenticated, they will redirect to the login immediately. That logic I written here. Okay, so don't bother about that. You can also return the simple logic, right? So that is doesn't require to show the code. Okay, and if I click on one more time, so one more sub page will occur on the top of that. Okay, for that I declared like crypto pay open thing, but this is the last sub page basically. If crypto pay is open, then render this page. If crypto pay open is equal to open, then render this page. If crypto pay is open, render the just below the page, and if payment is equal to open, render the page. So total 3 sub pages working on the same principle, URL parameters. So if you refresh also, see the last page is still exist or still retaining. Why? Because you are not using use state. If you use use state, means it would initially come to the payment equal to open. Exactly, so that's why I not use the use state. Instead I use the URL parameters. So if you refresh how many times, it will stay in the third sub page only, or if you go to second page, if you refresh, it will stay in the second sub page only. So basically I showed you like how to create parameters, how to call the toggle functions, when we need to call the toggle function. Similarly, these all are sub pages only. You can see forget password is a sub page, crypto payment is a sub page, crypto QR is a sub page, authentication is a sub-page which I showed you, and payment is a sub-page, and profile is a sub-page, and reset password is also a sub-page. Okay, these are the sub-pages which I created according to all devices, not for only desktop. I created one time, and uh, it is available for all devices like mobile, laptop, tablet, anyone. So like this I made very easy. And even also state management, you can see just it is as simple as that. There is no more proper link. If you declare redux also, you need to create reducers, and you need to pass them, etc, etc, so on. Rather than this, just do like this, it will be far more easier. And that's it. So this is the basically home.jsx reveal. In the upcoming videos I will tell the other parts also, like these are all just components. There is no lot of time required to explain these all. Why? Because these are the components. This is the main feature I wanted to show you in the home page. So I hope you understood a lot. If you understood something from this video, make sure like this video, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.